Welcome to Patriarchy.com. I'm Knowland, and on this channel, every day I answer your questions about how to become a more virtuous leader for your family. I also document our progress towards building the patriarchy one family at a time. So if you've got a question, just drop it in the comments and I'll get to it tomorrow. We've grown to 269 subscribers in just about a week. On the main channel, what you'll be able to see is currently on 18.1k subscribers. More long-form content is available there. Head over, subscribe, hit notify there too. But today, we're going to be getting into the comments on the Daily Patriarchy channel. So let's go down to the bottom, and then we can start answering some of the ones that you guys have left since yesterday. This is regarding gaming. It's from GS225109. While this is mainly a male problem, can you speak to gaming in females at all? What and how it affects them? I don't think this is an especially important topic to worry about. People who enjoy gaming are going to experience largely the same basic addictive impact from it as anybody else who also enjoys that. So there's not a massive difference between men and women when it comes to gaming addiction. So not the most important thing in the world to worry about by any means. It's more unusual for women to be addicted to gaming, but when it happens, it looks pretty much the same as it does with men. So if you are a father thinking about screen time for your kids, I would just have the same rules in place for everybody. Abdur Rahman Kara suggests that we should change the title so we suit the algorithm a bit better. Yeah, good tip on that last video. Thank you for that. Awesome. Glad you liked the video. Now, longer question here. Became Catholic at 40. Used to be cynical about marriage. Now I'm 43. 100 pounds overweight. Good income, but no prospects for family. Zero interest in women who aren't at least 10 years younger than me. There are lust struggles. No interest in religious life. What would you do in my situation? Well, you've asked what I would do. So the first thing I would do is get in shape. 100 pounds overweight is very damaging to your health. So priority number one, get your weight back into a healthy BMI range. In the process of doing that, you'll fix many of the vices that are going to be ruining other aspects of your life and making you unattractive to women. It's great that you've got a good income. I'm not sure why you have no prospects for family. Could mean that you've got no dating going on at the moment, perhaps due to lack of confidence. But again, the weight loss is really going to help with that. I'm not sure why you have zero interest in women who aren't at least 10 years younger than you. In general, and if you look at Catholic marriage manuals, they say this too, 10 years is a pretty big gap between a man and his wife. Now, it's worse when the woman is younger, like early 20s, but in this situation, I still don't think that's ideal. If you actually want to get married, consider someone who is closer to your own age. So you should probably be looking at women who are mid to late 30s. Why is it you have zero interest in them? Is that a sense of entitlement on your part that you should only be considering women who are far younger than that? Where did you get that idea from? Are those younger women themselves telling you that they are interested in you? Probably not from your situation. So I would focus on women closer to your age who are likely to be very keen to start a family. And you shouldn't worry about fertility because the fertility of women in their mid to late 30s is basically the same as women in their mid to late 20s. Very little difference there. So that shouldn't worry you at all. There are lust struggles. I'm not surprised. If you are at the age you are and you're not actually in a marriage and having regular sex, you are going to be struggling with lust. One of the purposes of sex within marriage is what's called a remedy for concupiscence. So it actually helps you overcome lust by channeling it properly. That struggle you are experiencing is God's way of actually telling you that you are supposed to be acting on those urges in the context of a family. So focus on that. I'd like to hear how this goes for you. Let me know. Stay in touch about it. Great video. Thank you for making it. I have a 7-month-old baby that I have posted some photos of on social media before hearing about the dangers of dark web and AI. Some people are telling me I'm overreacting for not wanting to post any more photos of my child online. It brings my extended family a lot of joy to post photos of their grandchild, so I have hesitated in telling them I'd rather not. I also would hate for my child to grow up and wonder why so many photos and videos are on the internet without his consent. I've heard stories of bullying that involve content parents have shared. Am I being overly cautious, or am I right to be this protective over my child? Well, what I would say for this one is that in general, it's going to be smart for you to have private social media. And then you can only allow people in your family or close friendship circles to follow you. So the images that you share online aren't going to be available to strangers you don't trust. This is a great compromise because it means you can still stay in touch with family members and they can get the joy of feeling connected to your kids as they grow up via social media, but you don't have to worry about strangers getting hold of the images. So I think that'll be a good solution. I don't think it's unreasonable to worry about just putting photos of your kids on the internet in general for anyone to see. But I do think you could easily make sure that only the people you trust can access them if you set up your accounts properly. But no, I don't think it's overcautious. Definitely a good point to make there. All right, next one. What does television watching look like in your home? How much is too much? So you're kind of asking two questions here. How do I personally do it? And also, is there any data on how much is too much? And if you look up the recommendations, when kids are very young, like under age 2, you want to keep it fairly minimal, maybe up to about an hour a day. And then beyond that, around 2 hours a day is the maximum. And it's better if they're watching it with parents or siblings, talking about it, and they're not just being put in front of the TV to shut them up. And obviously, the kind of content that you are watching matters as well. Try to make it stimulating and entertaining. Now, there's no need to ban TV totally. People who do that are going to an unnecessary extreme. The Catholic Church doesn't say that we have to ban TV totally either, obviously. So it's really a prudential decision based on what your family is like and how you feel you're able to manage the TV. But up to around 2 hours, once the kids are beyond toddler age, is perfectly fine. Obviously, you want to make sure that fits in within the context of the other things that you want to do as a family as well. What are the limits, if any, with regards to a mother's authority over her sons and whether women can or cannot teach? Well, this is an interesting question. So I'm not sure where you got the idea that women can't teach full stop from. That's strange. That isn't Catholic teaching. Clearly, it's a mother's duty to help her children to grow in virtue, and that involves teaching them. So women can teach for sure. You might have got confused between this and the idea that women shouldn't teach publicly. So I think that's the main thing that's led to this question. You're confused about what it means for women to teach. Yes, women are allowed to teach in the context of the home, mothers teaching their children. And the mother's authority over her sons, that's the same as any parent's authority over any child. So when you are living at home, you are subject to your parents. You obey them, just like Jesus obeyed Mary and Joseph. So when the mother asks the son to do something, he has to obey her. And if he doesn't, he's really disrespecting, by extension, the authority of the father, and above him, the authority of God, who has delegated authority to the father. Simple as that. Now, when the child moves out of the home, then the authority that the parents have over the child isn't as all-encompassing. You don't have to obey everything that your parents tell you when you are over the age of 18 and you're living outside the home. Different context. So, yes, in general, yes, you can expect the mother to demand obedience of the son just like the father can. No difference there. Next question. Hi, Will. Really enjoy and appreciate your work as a young male student growing up in a warped society. Do you have any advice on naming your kids? Does it come down to more than simply liking the sound of a name? Also, thoughts on pets for children. Do you have any dogs? Thanks, Will. Keep up the Trojan work. Well, it's great you're enjoying and appreciating the work. Thanks for commenting. You should try to choose a name that is meaningful beyond just the sound of it. So learn what the name actually means. Does it resonate with you? And of course, talk about it with your wife as well. You should be coming to an agreement together on what kind of name would be deeply meaningful to you. This is why many people might choose to name their kids after a particular saint, for example, or it could be an ancestor. Choose something that is important to you. As far as pets for children go, I don't think it matters too much. It's about what animal you are able to manage within the context of your life and the rest of your obligations, and also really what age the kids are. So just be sensible there and look up what recommendations are for appropriate size and temperament animals for kids of different ages. So we have a dog. We also have 3 cats, and I think kids can learn about caring for animals. They can also learn a lot when animals die too. For many kids, it's their first experience of loss, and it can be a good way to prepare them for losing humans in their lives later on. So yeah, I think it can be important. Now, we had one other question as well. If I just skim down a bit here, this is in relation to the video on porn addiction that went up yesterday. Is this also an issue for girls? Does the approach change for boys versus girls? Well, yes, it is also an issue for girls. We should expect, given the fact that males and females are both obviously in a condition of original sin, we have the same human nature, the same weaknesses as well. Of course, addiction happens in both sexes. I don't think you need to know the ins and outs of the actual details. That's not important. You can find them on Pornhub. They record all the data about who watches what genre of porn, for how long, etc. But that's really the vice of curiosity. There's no need for you to know that stuff. So I wouldn't even bother looking it up personally. However, what it comes down to ultimately is that you need to have the same discussions about the dangers of porn. You need to have the same blocking measures in place on devices. Whether it's a boy or a girl, you're trying to protect from it. You say here, how is the father's approach to protecting girls from porn different compared with protecting boys? Now, in general, the mother is going to have more of an influence on the virtue of the daughters because they're going to see her as a model. So your wife should be modeling through her reactions to social media, through what she's reading, through what you see on television, having discussions with the girls, what kinds of things are appropriate and what aren't, and what the different dangers are for interacting with boys, men as they grow up. I think that's really important. They should know that they can have that conversation with her, and that's what it means for her to help them grow in virtue. So great question to think about. I just don't think the actual specifics of the data matter much. It's all there. It's been recorded for decades now, but it doesn't make any practical difference, really. You still have to offer the same protection either way. So this channel is doing fairly well after setting it up. We're up to 269 subscribers now. Please make sure that you share this, subscribe, hit the notification button, and let's try and keep this project growing. Remember, you can check out the main channel here, Will Knowland at Be Her Leader, for more long-form content. And we also have a private community. Here you can see we're up to 250 members now, and the short-term goal is to get us up to 300 to help with the running costs of this social media project. When you join, you get access to more exclusive content, more interaction with me, and more support from a like-minded community of men. So head over there at patriarchy.com/start. And if you encourage your friends to join, you also get paid in perpetuity for that referral. So it's a great way for you to earn some extra money while also helping us out with our running costs. All right, if you've got any questions for tomorrow, drop them in today's video and I will see you then. Take care.